Good day viewers, my name is Mr. Kevano Kirenius. Welcome to our fourth lesson for Biology Grade 10 and 11. Today's lesson will focus on homeostasis in endothermic animals. Learning objectives are: describe the maintenance of a constant internal body temperature in humans in terms of insulation and the effects of sweating and shivering related to vasodilation and vasoconstriction only. Describe the control of the glucose content of the blood by the liver and the roles of insulin and glucagon from the pancreas. Outline the symptoms of and treatment of type 1 diabetes. Let's get into it. The bodies of endothermic animals such as human beings are covered with hair. The bodies of other endothermic animals such as polar bears are covered with thick fur. Both hair and fur stand upright when the internal body temperature drops. When hair or fur stands upright, it traps a layer of warm air, which insulates the body, thus reducing heat loss and contributing to bringing the body temperature back to its normal range. You may have experienced that when you are feeling cold, you sometimes develop goosebumps on your skin and your hair stands upright. The goosebumps are created when tiny muscles at the base of the hair contract and pull the hair erect. Endothermic animals also sweat to maintain a constant internal body temperature. This occurs when the internal body temperature rises above the normal range, which is normally between the range of 36 to 37 degrees Celsius. This rise in human body temperature could be due to exercising. The graphic of an athlete after the completion of a race clearly shows sweating. The water evaporates from the surface of the skin, which lowers the body temperature, bringing it back to its normal range. Another way of maintaining a constant internal body temperature is by shivering. Shivering occurs when the body core temperature drops. Shivering is caused by involuntary contraction of your muscles. Muscles contractions require energy from respiration, which releases heat. This heat is then used to warm the body, resulting in the body temperature rising to its normal range. Before shivering occurs in a situation where the body temperature drops, the blood vessels supplying blood to the surface skin constricts or become narrower. This process is referred to as vasoconstriction. During vasoconstriction, the blood vessels, which are specifically or namely arterial, constrict, and this is done to reduce the amount of blood flowing to the surface of the skin. Less blood transports less heat, thus less heat will be lost. Exercising releases heat energy, which increases the internal body temperature. If body temperature increases above the normal range, arterial close to the surface of the skin will dilate or become wider. This process is referred to as vasodilation. During vasodilation, the arterioles dilate, resulting in more blood transporting more heat to the surface of the skin. Besides maintaining a constant internal temperature, another factor that needs to be maintained in the human body is the blood glucose level. When a person eats a meal rich in carbohydrates, glucose is absorbed in the blood. This increases the glucose concentration in the blood. The brain responds by instructing the pancreas beta cells to secrete the hormone insulin, which lowers the glucose levels to its normal range by converting excess glucose into glycogen, which is stored in the liver and muscle cells. The right side of the graphic clearly summarizes what happens. However, when the blood glucose drops below its normal range, the opposite happens. When a person performs vigorous physical activities or does not eat or drink anything for 10 hours, the blood glucose level drops. The brain will respond by instructing the pancreas alpha cells to secrete the hormone glucagon. Glucagon will ensure that the stored glycogen is converted back to glucose. This is summarized on the left side of the graphic. Well, What will happen if a person's body fails to maintain a normal range of blood glucose level after a meal rich in carbohydrate was consumed? A person will develop a disease called diabetes type 1. Type 1 diabetes occurs when a person's pancreas beta cells do not produce insulin at all or produce insufficient or less insulin. Symptoms of type 1 diabetes include urinating frequently, feeling very thirsty, feeling very hungry even though you are eating, extreme fatigue, blurry vision, cuts, bruises that are slow to heal, weight loss even though you are eating more. Treatment of type 1 diabetes with a daily insulin injection. Now that we've come to the end of today's lesson, let us have a look into what we've learned about homeostasis in endothermic animals. Humans maintain a constant internal body temperature through shivering, sweating, vasodilation, and vasoconstriction. Vasodilation is the widening of arterioles which allow them to transport more blood with more heat to the body surface, which lowers the body temperature. Vasoconstriction is the narrowing or constricting of blood vessels, which allow them to carry less blood with less heat. The human body also maintains a constant amount of blood glucose in the blood. However, if the body fails to do so, humans develop a disease called type 1 diabetes mellitus. Viewers, before I sign off, here are a few questions to reflect on and to test your understanding of what was discussed today. Explain how sweating maintains a constant internal body temperature. Differentiate between vasodilation and vasoconstriction. Discuss how the human body responds when a person eats a meal rich in carbohydrates. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something new and you enjoyed today's lesson. Until we meet again, see you.